نحمده ونشكره ونستعينه نؤمن به ونتوكل عليه نعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا وسيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له اشهد ان لا اله الا الله وان محمدا رسول الله عبده ورسوله والصلاه والسلام على رسول الله سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم. All gratitude are due to Allah, the Lord of the world. We thank Him for making us Muslims, because if He has not done so, we would not have found guidance. Let me start on this note that apology to those who may not be able to comprehend or to understand the language I'm going to speak with you very well. I assume that they are all students, either of the basic or the higher and even tertiary institution students. But I can observe that some of those who are at the basic level may not be able to understand the language I'm speaking. But I'm not going to give any apology for that. We can only blame the organizers of the program for not classifying you. If you have different classes, then definitely you'll be able to determine who comes to speak to which level. Because some of the children I'm seeing around are supposed to have their own special class, whereby somebody understands the language they understand very well. We have to be with them to tutor them. So let me proceed from that. The topic of discussion as read out by Mallam. As you have written it, you say the examination of attitudes, habits, and practices for personal development. Lessons from the life of the past predecessors. You can see that as we are projecting, I have reframed the title. And I hope my reframing is okay with us. My reframing is based on my understanding of what you want me to come and say here. And I'm decided to put it the way I think it should be. If that's my understanding is correct. We want us to take lessons for personality development, not personal. There's difference between personal and personality. For personality development, from the attitudes are not habits, but manners and practices of righteous predecessors. If you look at my definition of terms, I say attitude in figurative form means disposition or state of mind. Okay? And I also said manner. I've made that comment before defining manner to make us to appreciate the difference between manner and habit. I said instead of habit, which means an action performed on a regular basis. Manner only means, habit only means an action that is performed on a regular basis. But I think manner should be preferred here, which is the way or the means, which is the mode of action or the way of performing or doing something. It also means good or polite behavior in its positive sense. I say in its positive sense because there are good manners and there are bad manners. But when we say manner, our mind primarily goes to the good side of it, the positive side of it. Then personality means a set of non-physical. It's not something that you can see physically, but it's more of psychological and social qualities that makes a person distinct from another person. And I also said there are good and bad personalities, depending on how much somebody has imbibed the positive or the negative qualities that we are talking about. And then development also means the process by which previous materials or a person is transformed and restated, or a process of direct change. Okay? Development is a change, but in most cases supposed to be positive again. From a lower level to a higher level. From a bad state to a better state, or to a good state. That's development. Now, my introduction is this. This is my understanding of the lecture, that this lecture topic is about development of religious personalities, not just any personality. So, where I'm going to discuss it, that's what I mean by character. Where I'm going to discuss this is to present to us a model of righteous persons, i.e., as indicated on our lecture topic, our righteous predecessors, or the early Muslims. We are going to present them as the goal. We want to be like them. That's what I understand. While the right attitudes, manners, and religious practices that also occur in our topic are going to be considered as the way towards attaining that goal. That is the goal of becoming a righteous person. Isn't it? So in other words, the lecture is about developing righteous personalities, while the right attitudes, manner, and religious practices constitute how to attain the goal of being righteous or upright. Am I communicating? I'm seeing the introduction. I want us to get in mind three things. What are we discussing this morning? We are discussing how to form good personality. I always answer three questions whenever I go to anywhere. That the question of what, how, and why. Okay? The what is good personality. The how, we are going to discuss that in our lecture. How do we become one? And why? Why is the goal? The achievements, the success of those people that are righteous. We equally want to attain that achievement, isn't it? We also want to attain that success. So that is our goal. And that is our why. Have you comprehended the question of what, the how, and the why? Now, this particular segment of our discussion is on what, and I titled it, The Practices of Our Past Predecessors. Please listen attentively. If you want to get what you have to come here to say to you. And we want to examine what are actually those practices of our predecessors that you want us to imbibe. We want to imbibe them, isn't it? We have to know what we want to imbibe, isn't it? Good. The first question to answer is what are the practices of our predecessors, which, if acquired, will link us, that is, the present-day Muslims, to the same or similar achievements made by our predecessors. Is that not the question? That's exactly the question we want to answer. And I'm saying these practices include primarily the set of beliefs and qualities that led our predecessors to be originally and divinely ordained, praiseworthy. There are so many qualities. We will not be able to exhaust them, but I want us to take note of the ones I've just highlighted. Praiseworthy, spiritual, moral, and intellectual status. Our predecessors attained what? Praiseworthy, spiritual, moral, and intellectual status. That made them to become beloved to Allah, and made them to be people who are fortunate, to be asa'id, the fortunate ones, those who are going to inherit the paradise, those who are going to earn the reward of life, the pleasure of Allah. Those are the people we want to talk about. And I want us to look at the verses of the Quran that we are about to discuss. The verses of the Quran we are about to discuss. Surah well known Surah to team, but just go to Surah Zina Amanu Aminu Solihat, Salam Ajurun, Gairu Mamnu, Fama Yukazibu Kabadu Bidin, Alaysa Allahu, Yahakam Yahakimin. The meaning of that surah, and I think this is one of the surahs that we normally learn the meaning of in secondary school, isn't it? Allah swear by two things, Watin and Zaitun. The tree and the olive tree. In the tafsir they said the essence of swearing by that. Allah wants to tell us about some of His name, His favor upon us, so that we can appreciate that His favor upon us and show what? Gratitude. When somebody does some favors you, what are you supposed to do? Even in primary school, we teach the pre-nursery children. When somebody gives you something, what do you say? Say thank you. It's a lesson at that very lower level. So Allah is saying that He's calling our attention to two sets of things. In each set, there are two things He has mentioned. The first set is a tin or zaitun, the tree and the olive tree. These are physical materials. We are told in the Tafsir that it means they represent the material food that we are going to use to nourish our body, that we are going to eat. Allah just deliberately just choose those two trees to represent everything that He has given us that will constitute what we are going to use to nourish ourselves physically, isn't it? The second set, the other two, Tur Sinin is the mount, it's a mountain, Mount Olive. That was where Musa went to receive the message of Allah. Our Hazal Balad al-Amin, and this secured city of yours. Who was Allah talking to? The Rasul. So Allah is using two places now. And what did Allah do to those prophets that were sent to us in those two places? That Allah gave them the spiritual message. The what? The spiritual message. So the first set is the physical nourishment. The second one is what? The spiritual component. So human being is composed of two: the physical body and the spiritual part of human being. So Allah wants to put us to test. Which of the two are we going to take care of? Are we going to be more concerned about only the physical aspect of our life and neglect the spiritual aspect? That is what we call the secular world. In the secular world, they only know what is physical, and they try to develop it as much as possible. Are you with me? The ideological meaning of these two verses, of these 11 verses of Surah 13, is that are you going to follow secularism or you follow the religious aspect, the religious way of life, which can only be Islam, not any other religion anyway. Okay? وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم. Allah now establishes here that by virtue of what He has given us to sustain as human beings, and by virtue of our creation, we human beings, Allah has made us to be at the peak, the highest level of all the creatures of Allah. Takbir. You cannot comprehend it. When you see the way angels are created, have you ever heard that? They say if angel the breeze on earth here, if he stretches one of his wings, it will touch the sky. That is a creature of Allah, isn't it? We are not like that. Have you ever seen pig? You see how Allah has created it? I have seen all sorts of creatures of Allah. Those that are walking on their both legs and hands. But we don't walk on our legs and hands except something happens. We walk only on our legs, isn't it? If you do your hand like this, the distance from here to this place is your height. It's also your height from the head to the toe. If you do like this, Allah said, I have perfected your creation. It's only human beings that are such blessed. That if you make use of both this material provision and make use of the physical and the spiritual provision, you continue to remain at that high status that I have created you. As well as me. But those of you who choose to only be concerned with the material aspect of life and neglect the spiritual aspect of life, you will also be reduced to the lowest of the low. That is why you see today that human beings are even worse than animals. Those things that I've just mentioned, if you see the genes, they are also creatures of Allah. You will appreciate what Allah has done to us as human beings. But if you refuse to appreciate the spiritual aspect of our life and you are more concerned with the physical aspect only, Allah says you are going to be reduced to the lowest of the low. Then Allah asks a question. Mama, you can't look about the within and this of all their camera. Why are you then disputing that all the religious teachings that are brought to you, you are disputing them? You say they are even lying, you are still calling them lying, you think it's lying. And why this question is raised is that if we have shown you the path of goodness, and we have also told you this is the path of error, what are we expecting? Even you as human being, if somebody does good to you, you show appreciation, isn't it? If somebody does evil to you, what do? You find a way of punishing that person, isn't it? But Allah says, and we are told that live your life according to the way Allah wants you to live the life, so that when you come back, Allah will judge. Then you say it's a lie. Can you say it is a lie that there is hellfire, that there is Al-Jannah. How can you say it's lie? When you know how you judge, you know how you judge good things somebody does to you, and you know how you judge bad things somebody does to you, isn't it? And you are expecting Allah to be different from the way you judge. And Allah asks the question, and this is Allah not the best of all judges? You say you judge, but you have forgotten that the Creator is the best of all judges. Now, in trying to, that is introducing us to the qualities of our predecessors, this surah. Now, let's go further to the next verses. Allah says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Innal Muslimina wal Muslimat, wal Mu'minina wal Mu'minat, wal Qanitina wal Qanitat, wal Sadiqina wal Sadiqat, wal Sabirina wal Sabirat, wal Khashiyina wal Khashiat, wal Mutasaddiqina wal Mutasaddiqat, الصائمين والصائمات والحافظين فروجهم والحافظات والذاكرين الله كثيرا والذاكرات أعاد الله لهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما. صدق الله العظيم. Look at those qualities. There are so many. There are, who knows how many there are? You have not counted them before, and you have been reading this surah. There are 10. There are 10 qualities there. There are 10 qualities there. Because of time, I will not be able to go take you through all of them. If you are asking for the qualities of our predecessors, this is an aspect of the Quran that mentioned 10 out of them. We must be Muslims. We must be submitting. And that is a lower level. A higher level to submission is to believe. That's mu'minin. The next level to that, which is greater than mu'minin. You see, there are some Mufassirin that have said all those qualities are rated according to their grade. According to what? Their grade. Meaning that the last one there is Zakirin Allah wa Zakirat is the highest grade. Because anybody who remembers Allah all the time is bound to always to be what? To be righteous. To be upright. If you remember Allah all the time, you will be cautious, you will not want to disobey Him. You will not want to do any of those things that is against these 10 qualities. I want to leave to us to go and do as an assignment. Or I should mention them. So, you must be obedient, qualitina or qualitat. We are still coming to that. You must be what? Obedient. You must also be patient. You must be patient. You must not be like it is impatience that is causing problem in the whole world today, particularly in Nigeria. Somebody wants to have the whole world, even if it is at the expense of losing the hereafter. You want to have everything in this world, so you have to learn to be patient. Then you must learn to be humble. You must be humble. You must be generous. You must give alms. You must be charitable. Give charity. You must be among those who fast. Allah Akbar. We have just finished Ramadan. I don't want to go back to the importance of fasting, Ali. Then you must be among those who got their private parts, chastity. Okay? And then you must be among those who remember Allah much. Allah Akbar. I told you that is the greatest of all these qualities. May Allah make it easy for us. And Allah also says, I'm trying to count the qualities of believers. If you go back in that surah, but this example is for those who hope that they will meet Allah on the last day, and there are those who always do what? Remember Allah much. That is remembrance of Allah again. That is ending that verse. So if you want to know the qualities of our predecessors, which we want to possess, then you must be very, very, very interested in following the Sunnah, in following the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. If you hear that the Rasul says you should do this, you want to do it. If you hear that the Rasul says you must not do this, you want to keep away from it. That is the best way of showing our love for the Rasul, isn't it? Not by shouting Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You must do a salat for the Prophet each time is mentioned. That's not what I'm saying. But having done that, you must be foremost in doing what? Obeying and following the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You must be among those who. Now, see, when you go further in that surah, Allah says, فَلَمَّا رَأَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ فَلَمَّا رَأَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَحْزَابًا قَالُوا هَذَا مَا وَعَدَنَا اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَصَدَقَ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَمَا زَادَهُمْ إِلَّا إِيمَانًا وَتَسْلِيمًا. If you want to know the qualities of our predecessors, it happened that when the believers were on the path of guidance, under the leadership of the Rasul, they were made to be the ones that fought. That did what? That fought to establish deen. This deen in Islam, the religion of Islam. Today, you call people to come and fight to establish the deen of Islam, they will say they are abnormal. If anybody says so, like yesterday when we were doing Muzahara, was it 3 days ago? Some of us that went to the radio, I was listening to when they were interviewing Mallam beside me in the harmony. That what is your problem? Are you the only one in that? What is even your concern about Jerusalem? What is your concern about Al-Harakatul when you are in Nigeria? The people that are being killed there, they are not Nigerians. What's your problem? So that is the way we ask those who are struggling in the path of Allah. Allah is now telling us that when it happened at the time of the Rasul that the Sahabas were faced with the armies that are coming to fight them because they wanted to do what? To establish Islam. When they saw them, they said, the promise of Allah and His Rasul have come to pass. You know what is the promise of Allah and the Rasul? Which we are not ready to face today. The promise is that you cannot establish Islam, you cannot have your way, you cannot have your cake and eat it. Do you know that added in English? You can't have your cake and eat it. The Sahabas understood that you cannot have easy Islam without fighting for it. Up to the point of going to the battlefield with the non-Muslims. When they saw the army coming, they said, the promise of Allah is true. The Rasul had told us that Allah is going to make us to fight against the unbelievers. And now, we are face to face at the battlefield with them. And what is that supposed to mean? It means it will send some fear into the mind of the people, have it? Because whoever was going to fight should also be prepared that he can die at any moment. The Sahabas had that kind of feeling. But in their own case, Allah says here that وَمَا زَادَهُمْ إِيمَانًا إِلَّا وَتَسْلِيمًا. In their own case, they didn't fear. When they came in time with the soldiers of the unbelievers, they said, that further increased them in their belief in Allah and in their submission to Allah. Are we like that today? Those are their qualities. We want us to know the qualities of our predecessors. Then Allah goes further to tell us that among the men, the believers, Allah Akbar, among the believers, Allah wants to tell us another category of believers that are higher in degree. Higher in degree. Say, مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ رِجَالٌ صَدَقُوا مَا عَاهَدُوا اللَّهَ عَلَيْهِ فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبَهُ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. Allah Akbar. Among the believers again, there are other categories of believers that they are men, they were true to their covenant. You know, this year theme of Tuesday, betrayal of covenant, which is the cause of the whole problem all over the world. In their own case, they had that covenant to defend Islam, to accept Islam and defend it. When they came to the battlefield, they now said, oh, this is the promise of Allah and His Rasul. And Allah is telling us that in the process, some of them were killed, they were martyred. Some of them are still waiting to be martyred. And this did not make them to waver. No shaking, eh? It didn't make them to entertain, to change their mind that, this is too much, I cannot go again. May Allah grant us the mind to be able to understand our predecessors and follow their footsteps. Now, you see, in Surah Fussilat, إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين. Let's stop there. In Surah Fussilat, that's the next surah. Allah is telling us about the people we want to copy. They are Al-Lazina called Al-Lazina. They are people who say Allah is our Lord and they stand by it and they were steadfast. So if you want to know the quality of our predecessors, they were what? Steadfast. They were steadfast. And because of their steadfastness, Allah, in the process, in the face of trial, even those ones we have just mentioned in Surah Al-Azhar, Allah descended the angels to come and give them strength, to come and make them to be able to combat the enemies of Islam. And at the end of the day, they were victorious. When Musa told the Israelites to enter Al-Harakatul in Surah Ma'idah, they said, you, Musa and your Lord, who enter that town and kill the Jabarun, the giants, because we cannot face them. The principle of jihad is everywhere in the Quran. That was the jihad at the time of Musa. They were asked to go into that town. They refused to go in. After they had made covenant with Allah that they will do so. After Allah had sent Musa to go and liberate them from the oppression of Fir'aun, they now got to where they were to be taken to enter that place, they disobeyed. So, but our own predecessors never disobeyed, they don't disobey. You can read them from the verses of the Quran now. You know, the qualities are so many: steadfastness, obedience, devotion, and so on and so forth. So you can still count there. So Allah says, we'll descend the angels to come and support them. And the angels are giving them the glad tidings. Don't worry. Don't be don't grieve. Don't be sad. Nothing will happen. And the sweetness of fighting in the cause of Allah is that when they are killed, they don't even feel the pain. And on the day of judgment, they go to Al-Jannah. What can be the best form of fortunate? The best part of being fortunate than to struggle and end in the path of Allah. Allah mentioned here that these people who are doing this, that nobody can be better than somebody who stands on the path of dawah. That is another quality of our fathers. They did what? Dawah. You know what is called dawah? I'm sure you must have been told so much here that we that are parents, just by Allah's design, we never had parents that knew so much about Islam. They sent us to the university, and when we got there, we became fanatics of Islam. Some of our parents were afraid that we will not graduate, and truly they rusticated some of us out of the university. Because of what? Because of our dawah. This hijab we are just wearing with ease now. It was not easy for us to wear it at our own time. The Muslim sisters who are in terms of the campus, they know what they went through. Some of them are, somebody who is a first class material was made to fail, not even pass, not even third class, not even first class, not even second class, upper and lower, not even first class. Somebody was a first class material by record. Because what? Because he was very hijab. Those were the struggle. Those are the qualities of our predecessors we are talking about. So dawah is one of it. So when you do that, Allah had promised that there will be no problem. Now, because of time, let me proceed. Now, as a result of their efforts, I know you want to know this, our forefathers. That's your main interest in this lecture. That's why you say examples. We are going to look at the examples. Now, what are the achievements of our righteous predecessors? Examples. Let us look at it from three angles. From the spiritual realm, from the intellectual realm, and from the radical operation realm. Okay? Is it the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Let's make the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as an example. The Rasul as an example, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You must have heard so many things about him, isn't it? So, time may not permit us to start counting all the spiritual might of the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The enemies of Islam have attempted his life when he was making the call. The lesson I want us to derive here is that in the process, he was of course he was the leader of all of us, and he showed the best example as the Quran has said. So whether you are talking of in terms of Iman, nobody's own even gets to his own level. Not to talk of surpassing him. When you are talking of steadfastness, nobody reached his level. As a result of that, he was spiritually very high. Now there are instances when the unbelievers, Abu Jahl wanted to hit the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Are you with me? Yes, sir. In Surah this is one surah. Yes, in Surah Al-Harakatul. In Surah Al-Harakatul, when you are reading that surah, towards the end of the surah, you know, in Surah Al-Harakatul, there are just two messages there. The first message is the revelation of the Quran. The first part of the Quran that was revealed, the first 5 verses. The remaining one is talking about the opposition from the unbelievers against the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. To the extent that while he was praying, Abu Jahl they were planning to bring their own soldier. And Allah said, recite it for me, Zabaniya. Zabaniya. That Allah was telling the unbelievers, okay, come with your own soldiers. I will also prepare my own army to combat them. We are talking of the spiritual quality now. Unknowingly to the Rasul himself, what they were ready to do, but Allah had prepared his own soldiers to support him, to protect him from their harm. And in the process, he wanted to hit him with stone while the Rasul was on sujood. They said that man, Zabaniya, when Allah made the unbelievers to see his own soldiers, you know, Allah has all sorts of soldiers that cannot be seen. They got scared and they ran away. You have also heard that there was a time a Jew came to the Rasul and reported that Abu Jahl was owing him debt. He had gone to report to so many other people, and out of fear of Abu Jahl, he could not collect his money from that person, from Abu Jahl. That person could not collect his money. So somebody advised him, go and tell Muhammad that And he's the only one that has the guts to face Abu Jahl. In the Prophet Rasul went to his house and called Abu Jahl to come out. You know this person? He said yes. Are you owing him any money? He said yes. Go inside and bring his money to him. And he went and brought it. When the person had gone, the Sahaba, the Mecans, his colleagues, they were making jest on him that we thought there is nobody that can deal with this much in this town. And he said, if you see what I saw, you'll be more scared than as I was scared. We are talking of spiritual level. Achievements. We are talking of achievements of our fathers. Number 2, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. All those things that happen to the prophets of Allah, if we follow their footsteps, they can happen to us. That's the lesson I want us to take. You have heard that when they threw him inside the fire, it's a long story, but the time will not be on our side to be telling the long story. When the Quran said, "Kul ya naru kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim." So what can be the best spiritual protection than somebody being thrown inside the fire, and the fire turned out to be an AC, air conditioner for him, to the extent that Allah was instructing the fire not to be too cold, because if you are dropped inside the ice water, it is not also comfortable. Instead of burning, it turned out to be something cool, to the extent that Allah has to say, the coolness should be to the comfortable level. That is spirituality, isn't it? Those things can still happen, and they are happening. Now, Umar radiallahu anhu, we are told, he must have had it, he was on Minbar, delivering khutbah, and he sent the Sahabas to somewhere to go and fight against the unbelievers. Let's just assume, and it's more than that, a distance between Ilorin and Lagos. He was in Medina doing khutbah, and he was instructing people as that far away from him that you go this way, you go this way. When they came back from the battle, they came to testify that, thank you, Amirul Mu'minin, for your instruction. That was what saved us from the hands of the enemies. That time there was no GSM, but somebody was communicating between somebody here and in Lagos. That is spirituality, isn't it? They are not talking. Yeah. You have also heard of the same Umar, when they complained that there was no rain, he wrote a letter asking Allah to give his servants rain, and asked someone to go and drop it in the river. They dropped the water, the letter there, and there was rain, and there was plenty of water. Okay? That is spirituality, isn't it? They can still happen. How many are we going to talk about? Okay, because of time, let's move. Salah bin al-Ayyubi, those of you who are at the coach day, you have the narration, Imam Absalam narrated about Salah bin al-Ayyubi. He was a youth like you. And when he started meditating and preparing himself to go and liberate Al-Qudus, today, Masjid al-Aqsa is in the hands of the Jews. Not only in their hands, any Muslim who dare enters it to go and pray will either be killed or be maimed and be thrown away. And nothing is happening. And we still call ourselves. So those are the points, those are our predecessors, isn't it? Now, intellectually, is it the work of the Sahabas in the compilation of the Quran? If you have ever read about the compilation of the Quran, then you give credit to our forefathers that they have tried. Imam Buhari, who has ever read about him? Imam Buhari, that is the author of the collector of Sahih Buhari. Imam Buhari, Allah gifted him brain to the extent that if he's reading book, this these are 2 pages of book, isn't it? If it's reading the page on my right side here, he will have to use something else to cover the left. Because once he sees it, it can confuse him. But everything he reads with magnet will stick to his memory. I know the wonderful thing he did. Go and read about his biography in Sahih Bukhari Volume 1. Now, the Muslim philosophers, time is not there for me to make so much example of Muslim philosophers. They are actually our fathers who started the knowledge of any discipline you know in life. Philosophy, medicine, pharmacy, call it mathematics, call it anything, chemistry, they are our fathers. Please, I want us to go and read. There's a book called Muslim Philosophers by one Sayyid Muhammad, Sheikh Sayyid Muhammad. If you read it, you will get the information about our forefathers. Please, at this level, I'm going to see the coordinators of Team Youth. We need to take a conscious step to develop us intellectually. We started it before, and somewhere along the line, the idea dropped, but we want to revive it. But I'm just announcing to us that we should all be ready to be challenged to do an intellectual work. Radical operation. You see, let me mention those bulletins. Our predecessors told the part of radical operation, not apologetic one, like people want us to behave today. If you want to be like our predecessors, you must do the following 5 things. Number 1, you must have pure intention. Because if your intention is not good, you are just wasting your time. If you are doing anything, if you are tied to man because your father wants you to tie to man, if you are wearing hijab because your mother wants you to wear hijab, if you are not careful, you will not get the reward with Allah. And because everything one must do must be done for the sake of Allah. That's the meaning of niyyah. 2, you must have sound akida. In the world in which we are today, there are confused ideologies. You must be very careful. All you need to do is to, the Quran says, "Fasalu ahla zikri in kuntum la ta'lamun." The fact that we are in a confused world where people are confused ideologically does not mean that you should get confused. Ask from those who know if you do not know. Number 2, we must have the knowledge. You must have schedule of activities. My dear younger ones, most of you don't have schedule of activities. You don't have set of azkar you do aside from the 5 daily prayers. Not to talk of having the time for it. And the little time you have, some of you always hold on to this phone. This shaitan. This shaitan has made you to know that and nobody will succeed in this world if you don't plan. They say he who fails to plan is planning to fail. This thing is one of the, as I'm talking now, some of you are looking at your phone. And that is what is a big problem. We were never like that. We have planned. And it has been like that from our youth up to this age. Before I came here today, I made sure that the set of azkar I have done them. I get what I'm saying. You must have schedule. If you have the time that you don't just do anything except you are forced to do it, or except you see others doing it, you are wasting your time. Number 4, you must have strong determination to obey. To obey the Sunnah, to obey Allah, to obey the Rasul, and to obey our parents. Let me tell us a very short story of somebody. West Coronel. Somebody who was not in Medina, But at his own time, the Rasul was preaching. His sister came to Medina. His sister came to Medina. They were non-Muslims. And the sister was captured as war captive. The Rasul asked them to bring her to him. They brought the sister of waist coronet to the Prophet. The Prophet now set her free and gave her a lot of wealth, camel and goods upon, so many camels and goods on it, and asked her to return to her place and set her free. You know what it means to set a slave free then? But the Prophet set her free of charge, with a lot of gifts. There was something there are so many methodology of dawah. That was one methodology that the Rasul used for her. She went back to her people and said, this Rasul that we are running away from is somebody who should go there. That event made her to accept Islam, and so many people from her place to accept Islam. Waist Colonel was her brother. He never had the opportunity of coming to see the Rasul, even despite the fact that the sister has given a very good report about the Rasul. What was the reason for his inability to come to the Rasul? But before the Rasul died, the Rasul said, somebody is going to come to this Medina. His name is Waist Colonel. When he comes, ask him to pray for you. And he was not a Sahaba. Al-Harakatul. The time the Rasul said this, perhaps he was a baby. The Prophet eventually died, so we can't classify him as a Sahaba because he never even saw the Rasul. So the Sahabas were wondering that, so somebody who is not among us is going to be that much more blessed than us, that we have to ask him to pray for us. When he came to Medina eventually after the death of the Rasul, Umar had that waist coronet because the Rasul described how he would look. Umar went and asked him that, are you waist coronet? He said yes. He said, pray for me. He said, it was wondering that I pray for you. What's the meaning of that? You, the whole Khalifa. But he eventually prayed for him. When they found out what was the act he did that made him to be such, to attain such position with Allah, only one single thing. You know the reason why he has accepted Islam, but he couldn't come to see the Rasul because the Rasul died. I will stop now. Why? The reason was that he was taking care of his aged mother. What did I say he was doing? He was taking care of his aged mother. You see how naughty some of us can be? The mother will call you, I'm coming. And therefore the father, the Quran said, never, never. Don't say, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. So our predecessors are people who are very obedient. They were obedient to Allah, obedient to the Rasul, obedient to their parents and people of authority. And finally, you must set a goal. If you don't set a goal, you just be walking aimlessly. Do you have goals? When I say goal, it's not that you are reading medicine and you eventually become a medical doctor. Yes, it's one of the goals. But you must have some other goals, isn't it? As I'm sitting down now, I will tell you, I have so many goals in my head that as I'm pursuing them, if I don't get them right, I've written it in my will that my children should continue from where I stop. Yes, a serious person, a serious Muslim will do that. I won't tell you those goals. I have some things I want to achieve that I have not achieved. You must set goals for yourself. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم له دعوة الحق والذين يدعون من دونه لا يستجيبون بشيء إلا لعلك باسط كفيه إلى الماء ليبلغ فاه وما هو ببالغه وما دعاء الكافرين إلا في ضلال ولله يسجد من في السماوات والأرض طوعا وكرها وظلاله بالغضب والآصال قل من رب السماوات والأرض قل الله قل أتخذتم من دونه أولياء لا يملكون لأنفسهم نفعا ولا ضرا قل هل يستوي الأعمى والبصير أم هل تستوي الظلمات والنور أم جعلوا لله شركاء خلقوا كخلقهم فتشابه الخلق عليهم قل الله خالق كل شيء وهو الواحد القهار أنزل من السماء ماء فسالت أودية بقدرها فاحتمل السيل زبدا رابية ومما يوقظون عليه في النار من